everyone. Welcome to Sankofa Video Books and Cafe. I'm Christina Joy, your lovely events coordinator. Welcome to 2024 at Sankofa. Happy New Year! It's a lovely night, kind of. I mean, it's cold. It's freezing, y'all. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm saying, like, has winter been this bad in a while? Because is it just me? It's just you. Might be you too. Yeah, y'all, I feel like it's so cold. It's so cold. It's ridiculous. So, but I digress. So tonight, we're here to celebrate ourselves, self-love. Yes, give it up for yourself. Yes, everyone. Come on now. You can do better for yourself. You can do better for yourself. All right. So tonight we got this lovely book written by this lovely sister right here to my left, Aya Fubara Enali, Esquire. Let me Esquire. Esquire. She wrote this book right here, Your Self-Love Revolution, a 30-day woman's guide to embracing divinity and creating the life you desire. My goodness. That's not a promise. Like, she said, listen, you want to get your life right in 30 days? Pick up this book. And tonight we got Harris on the mic. She's going to be on the mic. Yep. Do it like this. Talking to Aya. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. They don't need to see my face. How y'all doing that? On the internet. How y'all doing? But thank you for coming out. Shout out to Dr. Carr for putting us on, to Aya. We love Dr. Carr over here at Sankofa. Yes, give it up for Dr. Carr. So, without further ado, I just feel like talking. All right. Here y'all go.
You're amazing. Y'all give it up for Christina real quick. Now listen, if we say give it up for somebody and you give it up crazy for them, what do you give it up for yourselves that you really, really, really need to pay attention to? We're gonna put that out there. As Christina said, I'm Harris on the mic. I am a host and MC, and this is something I have been wanting to do for a very long time. If you guys know me, I've done the parties and the happy hours and the bat mitzvahs and all of the things, but I have a strong belief in if you have a voice and you have a platform to actually say something. We have a lot of people who have like podcasts and they write books and they have shows or, our favorite one, Facebook posts or tweets. And people really aren't saying anything. So I am honored and privileged to be able to sit here and, as I've been explaining it, is being able to jump into a dynamic conversation with a dynamic woman like yourself. And I am very appreciative. So thank you. Thank you. And thank y'all for coming out. It's kind of cold. Parking ain't the best, but you guys decided to show up. So whether y'all did that for us or you did that for you, congratulations. We appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to take a second and read Miss Aya's bio because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm gonna read it, okay? Make sure you follow, first of all, Miss Aya on Instagram at Aya Nelly, as it on the book, and I am Harris on the mic. FYI, get that out the way. Okay, so born in Columbus, Ohio, and raised in Nigeria as a speaker and life coach, Aya has served clients in 13 countries. She's began appearing on TV at the age of 4. Aya has authored and edited 4 books, including her latest, Your Self-Love Revolution, a 30-day woman's guide to embracing divinity and creating the life you desire. Join her for an intimate discussion on reclaiming and revolutionizing. Discussion on reclaiming and revolutionizing your relationship with yourself. I'm a Prince George's County native, PG born and raised. This is what I do and I love it. That's pretty much all you need to know about me. I want to throw all types of formality out the window because when we're dealing with stuff like real self-love and true healing and the journey that we're about to discuss, you can't have the formalities. You can't be pretty about it. You can't be politically correct about it. I always say, and sometimes I say this as a joke, it is a national mental health crisis right now. To be honest, yes, it's a national mental health crisis. So to be able to take 2 seconds just to say, what do I need right now? I think is a beautiful thing. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. Is that all right?
All right.
All right, now look, I'm like one of them old school preachers. If I say something, y'all got to talk back to me. Okay. So let me ask you this: what was your inspiration behind writing this book? Because it's very deep, it's very intimate, and at times it can be uncomfortable when you're reading the prompts. I was reading it like, I ain't got time for this right now. That's deep, deep. So to say, as difficult as this can be, as uncomfortable as this can be, I'm gonna do this. What inspired you to do that?
Well, first of all, thank you, everyone. Listen, you guys are going to make me cry. Before I get to answer your question, I want to say that there are officially now people here who have known me since I was born. Because my elder cousin just walked in and she babysat me when I was a kid. And there are people that knew me when I was in middle school and high school, and when I first started out as a professional. Shout out to my College of Staten Island folk and Ohio State folk, Ray Nix, action! For those of you who, inside joke, but if you went to OSU during those days, Africans committed to improving our nation, and you still are. And then my Nubian family, Karen, who's known my family. I mean, like, so you guys don't talk to each other because you can tell all my secrets. Shout out to all the nieces and nephews and my daughter and her friends who are here. Yes, thank you so much. It's truly an honor because you can be doing whatever and invite people, and everybody's lives are so busy. And so the one thing we can never get back is time. And so for people to honor you with their time is truly a priceless gift. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming out. My sister Sandra, who drove all the way from somewhere in Virginia, like 3+ hours, my nephew, all of that. I really appreciate you all. So to answer your question, and of course, thank you for saying yes and for being here today too. A little over 2 years ago, my younger brother passed away. He transitioned. I'm very grateful for the altar behind us because I just feel the power coming. Because even though I'm going to be talking about self-love, we need to understand that we're always connected. We're connected to the past, even as we dwell in the present, and we're connected to the future. And the things that we do reverberate back and forth. And it's really important for us to understand the importance of the journey that we're in. So this is my younger brother, vibrant, healthy, very self-conscious, just conscious, doing great things. You can find his movies on Netflix, and just a person who never met a stranger. He just loved on people. He always pushed people to be their best. And when he shared his diagnosis of cancer, I just knew he was going to beat it physically here on earth because he was one of the healthiest people that I knew. And the outcome was a little different. And when my brother transitioned, it threw me for a loop. I've dealt with other tragedies in my life. You live long enough, you're going to deal with some stuff. But for a year, I found myself like gasping for air. I had to get myself going, and I happen to have 5 children, and so you don't get to just check out. I mean, you can, but there are consequences for it. And so it's just like, it felt like I was driving with the emergency brakes on. And so it's just a grind, but every morning just keeping that face and, showing up, but literally just struggling for air. And it was actually almost a year to the date. I was in this area. I took some time off. My birthday is around this time, and I just needed to get away from all the roles and the expectations. Any of you have like all these hats that you wear, and they're wonderful, but sometimes they can also be a little restricting and burdensome. So I was just like, they were like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, peace. Like, that's what I want. Don't ask me where I'm going. I'll text you when I get there. Don't call me on my birthday. Like, I'm good. I just want some quiet. And it was during that time that my brother really, like, literally started to shake me, like, what are you doing? You saw me fight to live, and you have breath, and you're doing what? Like, get up and live was literally what he said to me. Get up and live. And I knew that I needed to. I mean, I've been a life coach in addition to being an attorney since 1996. But any of you ever know something, but that doesn't mean you always do it, right? Or do it consistently. And so it was like, okay, I got it. I will. But where do I start? Where do I start? And I just really felt my answers just saying, how about you start by loving you? And we use that word love a lot. As a matter of fact, if you go and listen to the music on the radio, I would say like a good 80% of it is supposedly about love now. So it would be lost too, but but it's like I love her, or she left me, or I'm brokenhearted, or can I get your love, or I'm going to do. I mean, it's like we're really always talking about this, but what does it really mean, and what does it really look like? And so it's like, well, everybody knows what love is. Do we really? What does that look like? How does that feel? And I've written about this before, but some of you may be like where I am, where it's like you got to keep working at a thing until it really becomes part of who you are. So what does that look for me in this season of my life? Because seasons also, it looks different from different seasons. And for me at that point, it required really isolating myself, taking some time for solitude, which was very weird for my family because I pretty much created a life where they were the center and I just worked my life on the periphery. Even in terms of my career and everything, I really had centered my children. They never had a key to the house. There was always breakfast, lunch, dinner. Their friends would come over and be like, well, your mama cooks every day? Yes. And it was wonderful. And I have no regrets about it. But somewhere in that thing, it was always giving and loving. And I don't know, men, if you can relate to this, but women were like trained, conditioned to always serve, to always give. So anyway, the point was, what will self-love look like for me? What will loving myself look like? And I sat with myself and I just said, okay, I'm going to take myself on a 30-day journey. And I'm going to try and figure out what this means, what it looks like, these moments of solitude, what I'm getting. And so then there was this voice that came, and my girlfriend Cherise will attest to this. We're walking, and I said, but I know myself. I'm going to start this, and then something will happen. A child will need something, or a parent will call or something, and I'll get sidetracked serving other people. I said, so what I'm going to do is, to keep myself accountable, I'm going to do this self-love journey publicly. I'm going to do it on Facebook. And I'm going to invite people to join me because then I have to show up. So folk thought that I was serving them, which I was, guys, I really was. It was a win-win. Yes, it was a win-win. But the whole time that I was sharing with people, I was actually teaching myself. I was going through the process myself. And so after I got done with the 30 days and everything from, when we talk about revolution, self-love revolution, I don't know what comes to mind for you when you think of revolution, but for me it was a radical change. There had to be a complete transformation. Like what was not working. And I couldn't just take pieces of it and try to cobble together something. I really needed to radically change my mindset and how I showed up for myself and therefore how I would show up for other people. And that takes courage because once you've trained people how to relate to you, and now you want to make these changes, they didn't necessarily co-sign for it. So shout out to my husband, because I know that there have been times during this process where he's like, what the hell?
This is a lie. I heard you.
I support you, but we doing what? I'm like, yeah, I don't need you right now. Okay. So for me, the revolution was there had to be a radical change. And what did that mean? So I'm asking myself first, what is love? What does that look like for me? And then in terms of this revolution, how far am I how free do I want to be? Where are the areas that I've held myself back? And I'm about to turn this back to you. So there's someone that says, or then they probably got it from someone else because there's nothing new under the sun, that all fear amounts to we're afraid of not being loved. Whether it's your fear of success, whether it's your fear of speaking in public, whatever, your concern is, if I fail at this, I'm not enough. If I'm not enough, I won't be loved. And so we do all these performances to be loved. And we spend a lot of energy trying to get other people to love us. But what if you loved yourself first? You know, this whole notion of, meeting my better half and all of that, it sounds wonderful and romantic and all of that. But in the real world, not mathematically, half and half equals incomplete. Like you're not whole. You're not whole. The math is not mathing. So what does it look like to be whole? What does it look like to call a potluck and everybody actually brings their best dish, as opposed to, some of you have been to potlucks where people come to eat and then want to take away, but they didn't bring anything. And so often we're showing up in these relationships, not really loving ourselves, but wanting that other person to fill our cup. And that's a lot of pressure to put on someone else. So where did all of this come from? It came from my grief, and it came from me understanding that I want to live. Like I want this life to count for something. None of us know how much more time we have. But for this life, it's a purposeful life. What is it gonna look like? And I cannot be my best self if I don't first love me. The long answer to that very simple question.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. It was beautiful. Like, that's it. Like, the reason why I was so just like connected with this from the first time we talked, which is very random. I don't know if you want to share that story. It was very random.
You can tell it.
So we crossed paths on Facebook. We're a part of the same group. And it was actually during a time that I really wasn't on social media like that. I was just like, I had deleted the app and focusing on me, right? Trying to do the self-love thing. So I thought the way I just did feel like dealing with Facebook for real. And I just had some time and I jumped on. And one of the first things I see is I'm looking for a host, a young lady, a Black woman in the DMV area who has a podcast, may have a podcast or follow or something like that. So I'm like, okay, let me see what's up. Before I could respond, I also noticed that one of my very close friends, who's probably tuned in now, what's up, Mel? She tagged me immediately. Like it was like 41 minutes that I had posted, and then it was like 39 minutes that my friend had tagged me. So I looked, and I think I responded to you immediately. And in a sense, like, I'm gonna see what it's like, see what she's talking about, see what's going on. And I didn't worry about it. As my partner and my business partner, I tell her everything. I didn't mention it. And it was like, I don't know if it's something to mention when it's something to mention. And, we went back and forth, checked out each other's social media, and we had an initial conversation, and it was like fireworks immediately. It was like a connection. It was, it's just been great. And leading up to it, and I'll tell you, as a host, doing events, there's so much you have to worry about. As far as people coming, getting your money, the DJ, all of the things. And I was kind of stepping away with that. Like I was saying earlier, entertainment is cool, it's fun, we all need it. But I was getting to a point where I was starting to feel heavy with it. Like, let's do something. So we talked on the phone, and I'm not gonna lie to you, personally, life has been handing it to me. 2024 came in like, I'm gonna show you what's up. Like, I haven't had one of those new year, new me, I'm stepping on next. I've been like, listen, you get to bring 23 back. I was just figuring out how to do that. Like, I was just figuring that out. So life was just hitting. And so I took it as because of a job, right? I'm gonna order the book and I'm gonna dive into the book. And so many times I was like, I can't do this right now because I'm gonna check out. They're gonna put me in the grippy socks. My therapist is gonna admit me because it's just too much. And planning for it. Every time I sat down to plan for it, like it was a regular gig, I felt cringy. Like I couldn't do it good enough. And it wasn't because I'm not capable, because I am. And it's not because I don't have an experience or I'm not, it wasn't that. It was every time I tried to plan and go about this as if it was a regular gig, I felt some kind of way. So I just rested in it. And every time we spoke, it was like, just let it be natural, have a conversation. And even walking in here, it was like, I'm not prepared. And it was like, but you're not supposed to, because you are.
Yeah.
So it was that. And it went crazy after that. It's just like, so I want to tell y'all this, personally sitting here, I'm gonna probably tell y'all a few times, being in this seat I got the best seat in the house. To sit here and be able to speak to a beautiful young Black woman with the Esquire behind her, you black, okay? You the black, we want our kids to grow up to be. And being Black, okay? So to know that, and this is how we're gonna roll into the next question, to know that you are an author 4 times over now, you are a mother, you are a wife, and you are an advocate, as well as an attorney. How do you balance all of that while still being in this journey?
Ooh, I don't know that I always do it well, but I would say intentionality makes all the difference in the world. And so often we're just kind of just going, and everything else is dictating how we flow. And you have to be intentional. You have to like stop and say, how do I want my day to go? So there's actually a chapter in this book called The 7 to Thrive that my youngest sister and I came up with, because our life can just be crazy if you let it. And you add 5 children to the mix for me anyway. And it's like, there's truly never a dull moment. And so part of the 7 to Thrive is really just carving out an hour a day to be very intentional about some things. Setting an intention in the morning, like today, no matter what happens, this is how I'm going to show up. And by the way, when you set an intention, you almost always will be tested. Let me just tell you that right now. Like the universe is going to check to see whether you're really serious or not. I always start my day with affirmations. I'm a gardener, and if you clear a piece of land and don't plant anything in it and come back, guess what's going to be growing there? They just find, they don't need any invitation. Listen, there can be droughts. There can be all kinds of everything that will kill off what you grew, but the weeds will be thriving. And so we do live in a world where we're pumped with so much negativity. If you wake up in the morning and immediately go to social media, you've already started your day off crazy. If you turn on the news, you've already started your day off crazy. If you start your day off with, even this notion of an alarm clock, think about it. I mean, who wants to wake up like that? We would just mess up all our cells and everything. Zig Ziglar likes to say, don't call it an alarm clock, call it an opportunity clock, and then maybe have it play music instead of something that just jars you. So anyway, we live in a world where we're so bombarded with negativity. From the day you're born, someone sees you, oh my God, he's got a big head. And I won't lie, I did see a baby yesterday at the airport. And I said a prayer for the mother. The head was big. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, I digress. Okay. But yeah, so from the minute you're born, someone's got something typically negative to say. We find it so much easier, some of us, to tear people down than to build them up. You look at someone and immediately look at what you're going to pick apart, as opposed to what you're going to compliment them on. And so what happens is, just like that piece of land with all the weeds, when we're not intentional, there's just ick being attached to us. Then you live long enough, you have friends who betray you, you have that guy that you thought you would be with forever, or that girl, and then she's, stepped out on you or whatever. You didn't get the job, you didn't get the scholarship, you didn't get, whatever it is. Life happens. Your children don't like you. You live long enough and you parent long enough, you will have times when your children don't like you. I don't know what you all experience. If they haven't told you that, they're lying to you because you probably pay them money. Yes. They'll get over it too. But anyway, my point is that there's so much negativity. And so for me, I always start my day off with affirmations. I want to pour into myself first and fortify myself, kind of like taking your vitamins and so on. Or wearing your mask before you step out, because it's going to come. But if you're fortified, if you first protected yourself, then it doesn't have the same impact on you. It doesn't shift you in quite the same way. And so when we talk about self-love, when we talk about how do I manage everything, it's really being intentional. And what this journey has done for me, not that I haven't always kind of been someone who wants to make the world better and make myself better and live up to my potential, but what this has really done for me has really deepened my relationship with God. Some of you may have grown up in, different households that were religious. A lot of times as children, we're just doing what our parents require of us. If you grew up in a Christian household, at times it was just fear God, and it was from the perspective of, he's going to strike you down or whatever. But in terms of that loving relationship and that understanding that the power that created the universe dwells within each and every one of us, that I have the mind of God, that creative power is within me, and just trusting that. I've never been where I am right now in just knowing that no matter what is happening, it's okay. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But while I'm here, not shrinking anymore. And for a long time, when you read my bio, you said, I'd been on TV as a child. We had these programs, Tortoise Club and Junior Opinion, for anybody from Nigeria who might watch this at some point. And I was on from the age of 4. And what happened was people would pick fights with me just because of what they thought I was. So my parents don't know this story, but I would wear like shorts and t-shirts underneath my school uniform because you didn't want to mess up your uniform. So when they came for me, because if you come for me, it's on. Let me just say that part. Like, I'm not running from a fight.
Everybody
Let's
say
do this. Period. And I fought boys and I fought girls, but I didn't start. I didn't instigate anything. But I would take my uniform off, then fight, and then put it back on and go home. And it didn't matter if you busted my lip or whatever. What you were going to get from that was I was not a pushover. Like, I wasn't the one. But anyway, what I learned from that period of time, being on TV, being active in other ways in my community, was that the more you stand out, the bigger the target on your back. I didn't realize that was a lesson I had imbibed as a child, but it was working in my subconscious. And so what I would do is I knew there was greatness in me. My parents instilled that in us. But I would only go so far, and then I would stop myself. I would self-sabotage. Anybody else here self-sabotage?
Amen.
Oh, y'all perfect?
I'm going to raise my hand. Yes.
And I never could, I had reasons why I was doing what I was doing, but not the truth. Because I never really sat down to face the truth for myself and to realize that I was self-sabotaging. But it was really my fear of, if I really show up in my greatness, then I'd become a bigger target. And what's our biggest fear? We want to be loved. So if I do all of this and then people are not going to like me, then I don't fit in. And I was always kind of that little odd. So I would dim my own shine. And so what setting intentions has done for me, and the way that I'm now being able to manage all of this stuff, is to just really own the fact that I am a goddess.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, God, goddess, whatever you want, like truly, divinity resides in me. And if God can create whatever religion you believe, create and say, and it was good, why can't I stand in that same power? It doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes, because obviously God must have screwed something up, because look at the world today. I'm just saying, I'm not blaspheming or anything, but I mean, the first people, if we follow the Bible, they messed it up like right from the beginning. But anyway, my point is, so how do I balance it all is really having that deeper connection with God and choosing every day to remind myself of that connection. But at the same time, not feeling like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, in the sense that the sun is going to rise every day. But sometimes we don't see it because it's really cloudy or it's really foggy, or you get a sense, obviously, that the sun is out there. But I don't think that the sun is sitting around like, oh, is it good? Well, if there's going to be, if there's going to be fog, then I won't shine. We'll rise tomorrow. And so what I've decided is I'm going to just show up as the best me. If I'm not for you, it's okay. If I am for you, let's connect and do something. But I am here to live. And so what I do now is I don't say yes to the things that do not align with my purpose. I am not trying to just, so that's where we burn ourselves out. That's where we burn ourselves out. So people are like, oh, I'm like, okay, I'm not a slave queen, because I ain't got time. It doesn't fulfill me. Yes, life. But I will garden. But I'm not going to. There's certain things that you may do that I don't do, and it's okay. That's okay. And being able to say no to people and it be a complete sentence.
That's it.
Will you come to so and so? No. And I don't have to explain beyond that. But when I can really show up in love, like the people in my life know that I will show up and I will love them and I will do what I need to do. But I'm also giving myself permission in this season to say, I can't today.
No, I'm not today. I won't today.
No. Or let me connect you with someone who can help you with that. Or actually, you're fully capable of doing this yourself. Like, you don't have to be dependent on me. So that's the big thing now even with the work I do as an attorney. Some cases I'm like, no, not feeling that, not doing it. I just got invited to do a program in my community, and initially was like, oh my God, this is, feels good to be asked. And then I looked at it again and I was like, doesn't resonate with my spirit. I don't want to burn bridges, but at the same time, and I just very politely said, yes. It doesn't work for me at this time, and it's okay. And if you say it's not okay, that's good for both of us to know.
Because we're being honest about it up front. I think if we were all to walk in that truth, just being honest about what I'm for, what I'm not for, but we can't do that off the break until we go through the journey, until we figure out what's really for us, because it's easy to get swayed or led by what you think is for you, but that's usually speaking to something that you need or avoid. When you are 100% you're not swayed by anything superficial. It is what it is. You are who you are. Yes is a yes, and it's a heavy yes. Like, just like you said, when you show up, you show up. But if it's a no, it's a no. And I heard somebody say, and it's very absolute, somebody said, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's an F no. Yeah. And it was funny when I heard it, but I was kind of stuck with it. Like, that was kind of interesting.
You know what? This may seem trivial.
I'm
sorry. I'm doing this with my clothes now. Mm-hmm. You know how you see something and you're like, oh, but it's on sale, or this, or that, or that, or that. And then it's in your closet and you got these things, but then you don't wear them because actually now when I see something, I don't care how great the price is, do I feel like I can conquer the world in this? Like I can show up wherever and feel great in it? And it could be workout clothes, but do I feel? And if I'm going, well, maybe if I pin this, it's a no.
It's a no.
It's a no.
It's a no.
So if I were still in the dating pool right now, no, it's a no.
Tough.
It's a no. It's a no.
Yes, we're not even gonna get to that. Out of the DMV. So look, right out of the gate, right?
Because they're young folk here. Don't let loneliness put you down, take you
It's
down.
not worth it. It's not worth it. Listen, to go back to what you were saying about like you and your husband, he's saying like, all right, look, I support you and all that you're doing, but this is a bit much. I've in the past, like being younger, right? Because I'm young, but even younger, right? I would feel like I need to do this. Like I need to work out more, right? But in a way that I kind of need to obsess about it because my thoughts are obsessive about how I don't like my body. Or I need to do something. And doing that something would usually cut out time that I would usually have for my partner or, with my best friends. And going back to what you said, it's like that fear is a lack of love. I have definitely said I'm not going to do what I know I need to do because of that fear. And you find yourself like literally missing out on opportunities that are designed for you. People are knocking at the door for you. Things are orchestrated for you, but because you have that fear of, hey, I got to fly to LA right now. They want to meet. The studio wants to meet you right now. But you're afraid that the person you're supposed to be with or the things that you're supposed to do or the 9 to 5 that you hate, you're afraid to take off. So you don't do that because of the fear. And I feel that just kids, the children, yes. And the children, yes. I find that, like personally, like my therapist has been telling me for a time now, it's okay to choose you.
Let's normalize therapy.
Yeah.
Listen, okay? The young lady, Melanie, thank you so much. The one who tagged me in the group to respond to you she is a counselor. She's a mental health advocate and a counselor or therapist. And years ago, we used to work together, and I used to work at a jail. So you can just imagine how much that was needed. But I remember she was so just matter of fact about going to therapy, about wanting to be a therapist, and just about the things that she was conquering at a young age through those things. She normalized therapy for me. And because of the conversations that she had either with me or in front of me, I went to therapy, and I strongly stand by it. Absolutely. You hear people say, I don't need therapy, I'm fine. And it's like, okay, let the therapist tell you that.
And what are we doing during therapy? It's really unmasking, self-discovery, being honest, getting beyond, what will my mom say, or my dad, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend, or my best friend, or, and it's really just this person that you can be truly vulnerable with if you're doing therapy right. Yes. And in those moments, the clarity that comes versus when we're wearing these masks and trying to, be everything that we're not and truly dying on the inside. And that is the society that we live in. Those are the expectations.
And sometimes I feel like it comes as a confirmation. Like if I'm sitting there talking to my therapist, she'll hit me with my own line. Now you probably don't want to hear this. That's what she said. And I always play the joke like, because we do virtual. So I'm like, we're just gonna figure out who want to hang up first between me and you. Because me, I'm gonna hang up because you ever go and let you go. We're gonna figure who get frustrated first. And she'll say things and she'll say it. And while it may hit like, bow, somebody knocks you out, it's confirmation because I already thought it. Or I've already felt it, or something's been telling me like, this is an issue. Stop doing this. Or this is for you. Continue to go in that. So I am absolutely positively 100% an advocate for therapy. The worst thing can happen is that you can see yourself and you got to deal with it.
See yourself. And so in the book, one of the things that, first of all, I wrote this book in a way to make sure that it was very user friendly. And no, it's not 30 days and you're done, because healing is not a destination. It's ongoing. It's a process. And you heal from one thing and then you find out, I got triggered by something else. And as long as you're living, you should be evolving. So how the book is set up is very brief introduction. There's a meditation, and the meditation is all about getting quiet. So there's a lady who purchased this book, and she just sent me a text yesterday, and she said she's a big entrepreneur, multi-million-dollar kind of business, and she said, I did the chapter on clear it was a meditation on clearing your chakras, and some of you may be like, what is that? It's just your energy centers. It's not that great. It's not it's great. It's not gonna make you. There are people that talk to me and they're like, is this against the Bible? Like, God made you. Like, you got energy centers, deal with it. But so she did the meditation to unblock. And she said, and after that, she had, a program she needed to write. And she's like, Aya, it just flowed. I want to thank you. And she's actually on her second 30 days of this. So she got the book when it first came out. So it has a meditation to begin with, and we're going to have the meditation online. So, because if you're like me, I want to hear my meditation, not have to read it. But it's a guided meditation. Each day covers a different thing, and just getting you to pay attention to your body. Again, my brother actually had this pain in a particular area of his body for a long while. And he just kept working and taking pain medication and using heating pads and all of that, but never stopped to go check it out. And it was during COVID, because work had stopped, that he finally went to go check it out. And at that point, it was, pretty advanced. So one of the things in this meditation is just doing a body scan and really paying attention. I get headaches. I've always gotten headaches, and I never really understood them because, I was trying to figure out. And now I've for me, doesn't mean it's for anybody else. When I get those headaches, it's actually like there's a download that is trying to come, and I'm not paying attention, and it's like there's a block, and so that I feel it. So now, as soon as I feel that aura, I'm getting that headache. It's like, okay, time to go be quiet. Get your journal out and pay attention and listen. So there's a meditation, there's a lesson, and then there are journal prompts. So those of you who might not be ready to jump into therapy, or maybe you work with a therapist, but you want to still do some more work with yourself, the journal prompts, sometimes I didn't want to respond to them. I didn't want to respond to them because I don't know when I'll die and whether I'll be able to burn up my journals. Because if I'm not honest in them, and someone finds them later, what, mama? And so there are actually some prompts that I didn't want to respond to. And so I'm not going to give all my secrets because my daughter's here, and then other people are watching this online. But some of my writing is actually in the journal itself, and others are somewhere else, where I can be totally honest. So we have the journal prompts, and then we have affirmations. So if you go through the 30 days, it's 300 affirmations. So if you're struggling with what can I positively say to myself, well, we already have it for you. And someone says, I will make cards and all that. Y'all, hold on. I'm coming. This is not audible yet. A second, I'm coming. We're trying to make this happen. So, so it's written to be very user-friendly, and there are people who are doing one day, each day they're doing one chapter because that's how it's set up. But there are other people who are like, I found that I needed 3 days on this one chapter. Well, you're not competing with anybody. Take what you need. And if it takes you 365 days, who cares? Because what you're doing is working on yourself and evolving. But what I know for myself is this is going to be an ongoing thing. And each time I come back to a journal prompt, each time I read, even what I'm writing, I'm like, did I write that? Oh, okay. And I'm learning from it. So I really do encourage you all to.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, look, we're just going to dig into it. Out the gate, right? Off the break. You said that nurturing high self-esteem is a non-negotiable. That's what you said. Those are your words. Why so much emphasis? Why so much emphasis on that? And why day one? That's day one.
Because lack of self-worth is the thing that trips us up. in academia, we like to call it imposter syndrome. But this whole thing that's playing in the back of our heads all the time. I don't know if I can. Maybe I should. Maybe I need to get better here. Or I'm not quite ready. And we're constantly in our own way. And so if we can nurture ourselves, and again, that piece of divinity is, I'm already enough. I'm already enough. Anything else is I'm just growing and developing. It's like, a seed. The seed already has everything in it. Now, at one point you may see it with 2 leaves, and another time you may see it with a flower, and another time you may see it with 10, fruit on it. But it was already enough when it was a seed. And it's going to be enough when it's season, like now it's getting colder and some plants are not evergreen and they're going to die back, and it's okay. That is their cycle. And so that self-worth is so important, because once I know I am enough, then I can walk boldly into anything. And even if I quote unquote fail, it's not a failure, because it was an opportunity to learn. Because, I often ask people, who has ever seen a baby trying to walk? How many times do they fall? And how many of you have seen a baby, you go, what? You try to get up and you fail again? You're such a fit. Listen, just scoot on your butt for the rest of your life. It's over for you. Like, it's not, walking is not going to be for you. We don't say that. They get up on their wobbly feet and we're clapping. Oh, he's good for 2 seconds. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. And we're building this child's self-worth. Why? Because we know that it's in them to walk. I mean, yes, we do have people with physical disabilities, but for the most part, right? It's already in there. And because we know that, there's a way we respond to that child. What if we did that to ourselves? Okay, so yeah, I took that class in. Man, I don't know what language they were talking. Oh, I quit. I'm dumb. I can't learn. No. It's like, okay, maybe I need to learn differently. My mother has a PhD and did not find out till she was working on her PhD that she is supposedly dyslexic. She just always thought, well, it just takes a little bit more work for me to do it. And let me tell you, she retired almost 20 years ago. She cannot stay retired. The universities want her. I just did a talk and someone, hit me up and said, once you started talking, I knew this was in Nigeria. So we're doing it virtually. And she says, I knew you were your mother's daughter. Wow. And she mentions my mother's name and she's like, and she taught me this, and it's amazing. And they don't know the backstory. Yeah. And so thank God my mother never gave up. So I don't know where you are in your life, but if you nurture that self-worth, which for me, again, is tied to understanding your connection to your creator, understanding that seed already has everything. You are enough. And your journey may look different. And that's the other thing with comparison. So comparison is either going to make you be very proudful, and you see those people.
Mm-hmm. I'm better than you.
And you got to look down at people and all that. Or it's going to make you feel less than other people. Right. And you're constantly shrinking. And so if people understand their self-worth, they also understand that our journeys are going to be different. Mm-hmm. And you may hit your thing at age 10 and someone else, it might be 50. And someone else may be 67. And even regardless of the age, success is going to look different for each and every one of us. And it's okay.
I always say never compare, but always compliment. And that's in a situation of, let's say, friends or relationship, or even like at work. Like, I'm here to work, you're here to work. I'm here to love, you're here to love. We're here to have a good time, you're here to have a good time. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't benefit anything that's going on for me to compare myself to you. But if I align myself or put myself in a position that whatever I do, I'm here to compliment you, and you have the same mindset, it's nothing to take it by storm.
And that's why the last chapter, the last chapter in this book is actually on being love. Because all the pain and hurt and that we see in the world, if each of us was showing up with love for self, then what you're going to pour out on people is love. And who sang the song, What the World Needs Now? Dionne Warwick. I can't sing. I'm not even going to try. What the world needs now. Who can sing? It's love, sweet love. Yes. And then, who? It was Dionne Warwick.
Kosi said, no.
Kosi can sing. No, that's what's going on.
Oh, that's true.
Kosi, you want to sing it for us? Is that what you
She
said?
can sing. You going to sing the song for us? Oh,
Okay,
okay.
we just love it.
I'm setting a boundary.
Okay. The way she put it right back at you. And you know what's funny? I have a friend. She has like an 11-year-old daughter. And she said, I was in Costco with her and I touched her. Like, just to put her arm around her. And she turned around and she said, Mom, I've had enough touching for the day. And she said, I don't know whether to be hurt or proud.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's okay to be both. You could be hurt because you reached out. And she was like, listen, nah. But you could be proud because you put that in her. And this is actually my daughter's godmother. We've been friends for years. And I'm like, I remember watching you having difficulty setting those boundaries, like with her mother, with her children, with her, just people. And she was like, I'm proud, but, I felt like she kind of carried me. And I was like, congratulations. You did a good job. Because if it wasn't for the work that you were doing to put into her, she would feel some kind of way and let you do because of who you are.
And then let everybody else.
Exactly. Because the minute she put someone else in the position, well, because of who you are to me, I'm going to let you do what you want to do and say what you want to say, even though I don't want it or I don't feel comfortable. So I said, okay, let your little feelings be hurt, but be proud of yourself because you did that. You did that. So we respect you on that. Thank you so much. Before I get into the next question, I also wanted to step back into the point that you made about the seed. And what is given to me is even as the seed commit to showing up. Because that's all you got to do. If we're saying, this is all I have, this is all I know, this is all I can do. If you commit, and like you said, being intentional about being that seed, the rest will come. Do your part. Rest to be a seed and let everything else do what it's supposed to do. So that was for me. I don't know if it was for y'all, but that was for me. So I appreciate that.
You got more questions?
I have plenty of questions. Oh, baby, this is what I do. Okay? Y'all all right? Okay. So this is what I will jump into this one because you already touched on it. I feel like you was getting my business with it. But
Like underlining stuff.
oh, I did this. Okay. I did. I wasn't playing. And I told you last night I couldn't sleep. I was up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, this morning going through this. Had to work, had the mom do all the things. So it resonates that much. I'll say that. So at the end of it, day 30, and you just spoke about it, it's about being loved, right? You close with becoming and embodying love. How important is that presence in the world versus one who does not strive for that or is unaware that it needs to be?
Again, what are we all looking for? We're all looking for love. And so a lot of times when we talk about, well, maybe not all the time, but many times when we think about self-love, there's also this guilt that comes with it, like I'm being selfish. If I'm taking time to work on myself, whether it's reading or going for a walk, or I just want to be quiet, and whatever it is, everybody feeds themselves in different ways. It's this sense of, but someone may have needed me, or I'm saying no to something or whatever. And there's a lot of guilt that sometimes comes with just loving yourself. And what I was thinking about, particularly with that chapter, is that the whole goal of this is the more healed I am, the more healed the whole world can be. So it's really a revolutionary act of love to first love yourself. Because when you do that, again, then you're able to model and you're able to show up for other people. So, I had to fly to get here. If you've ever flown on a plane, what's that thing they always say? If, in the case of your air pressure, whatever, is up first. Now imagine that mom is like, I gotta take care of my baby, but while you're trying to do that, you lost consciousness. Well, now you both did.
You can't care for your baby.
And so that chapter is trying to, hopefully, if people aren't already convinced, is to know that even though it may feel selfish because of how we've been wired, but remember, this is a revolution, so we're turning everything around. Even though it may feel selfish to work on you, to build yourself up, to nurture yourself, ultimately, it serves the entire world. It serves those you love when you are now embody it. So you're not as triggered. Stuff happens. People may, act. I remember times when, I'm going to talk about kids. A kid has done something. I'm like, oh, you just made me so mad. And then I think about it. First of all, the fact that you become mad. I mean, what does madness mean exactly? Do you want to be mad? And then that's the next part, that you will give somebody else that power to completely change your emotional state. Then now you acting crazy, because that's what madness is, right? But that really comes a lot of times what we call madness, what we call anger, all of that is really just the flip side of hurt. We're just really hurt. But if my love for myself is so full, I can be walking down the street and you say, hey, B word, and I'm going to keep walking. Actually, when I lived in New York and in Brooklyn, and that was a daily occurrence. Like, I don't know who you're talking to. It ain't me. That ain't my name. That's, So I'm not even wasting time getting mad at you. We don't have to exchange words or anything, because I don't know who you're talking to. And that word has nothing to do with who I am. And so someone says, oh, don't touch me. I don't have any hurt feelings. My love is full right here. I just recognize it as, okay, she doesn't want to be touched. So a lot of what happens when we are not full of our own self-love is that we get so easily triggered, we get so hurt, we get mad, we get angry, we get like, and then the gossip, and I can't believe it, and then now we're holding grudges and this and that. And by the way, in the Black community, I cannot talk about your self-love revolution without talking about the fact that we need a revolution as a community, and we can't get to that place because we don't love ourselves. We don't see our self-worth. People who are still talking about, what, you wearing your natural hair, that doesn't compliment you, or she dark skin, or I only date this guy. I mean, it's like, it is such a reflection on the fact that you don't love you yet. Yeah. So how do we come together as a community to then fight collectively for anything when we don't love ourselves? So it's got to start right here. And that is what will spark the overall revolution. We evolve as love, and our community changes. We stop shooting each other. Yeah. We stop having babies that we're not taking care of. We stop calling our babies out of their names. We stop being so depressed that we can't show up to parents. Women so brokenhearted that they and then they take all that anger and trauma out of it on their children, and men as well. There's so much that is going on in our community. Listen, white supremacists and fascists, they're going to do what they're going to do. But we need to do what we need to do, and that is to heal ourselves. And if we got whole, one person at a time, then we change what our families look like. We change what our community looks like. And once we are strong here, it wouldn't really matter that much what they're doing. But right now, look at the state of the Black community. I mean, I'll get a little bit of money, and because I don't have self-worth, I take it and I go spend it with someone who would not even hire me in their store. Right. Hoping for validation, hoping to feel better, Y'all, we gotta start right here. And I'm ready for this revolution, aren't you?
Well, listen, I have a million questions and we'll talk later. I want to hold people to do we have any questions from the audience?
Or just comments.
Or comments. And while you guys are gathering yourself, if you are online, if you have logged in, because we are streaming live, FYI, if you checked in, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And if you have questions, y'all can shoot them to the DM and we can talk about it later. Do we have any questions, comments, thank yous? One in the back, sir.
Okay, check. Just a general comment. First time meeting everybody.
Ray Nick's in the house.
I'm official now. So just a quick observation. So I walked in and saw, a woman that I've known since the late 80s, early 90s, and was as dynamic as she is now then. So I'm trying to figure out, your trajectory just continues to go up, which is absolutely beautiful. But I came to support her and went and because I didn't buy my book online, and I knew she was going to get on me when I walked in line to get it signed, and I didn't have a book. So I went to buy a book and bought it and looked at the cover, and it said a 30-day women's guide. So I said, well, maybe I'm in the wrong place. But listening to, just the commentary from you and the host, there's nothing that I've heard that would discourage me as a Black man, as a male, in reading this and embracing this. So I appreciate you taking the time to pour into to the women, but at the same time, those same, it looks like to me, principles and practices, I think brothers could benefit as well. So thank you. I just want to say congratulations, and I look forward to sharing this with people in my circle. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Let me say this. We all have feminine and masculine energy. So unfortunately, because of this world that we live in, it's like, oh, you got to niche down, you can't just make it general and so on and so forth. But yes, if you're a human, this book absolutely can apply to you. If you are 12 years old, it's written very simplistically, actually, because we don't have to make things complicated to, I can write the legalese and be all like, what did she say? And what's the point? So you can read this as a 12-year-old, you can read this as a 90-year-old, and I think you'll benefit from it. But you're absolutely right, Ray. This will benefit men as well. And I'm going to shout out another book too that a group of us are reading this book together because our brothers, you all need to heal. It's called The Invisible Ache.
Oh, the Courtney B. Vance.
Courtney B. Vance and Robin Rice. Is it not Rice? Robin Smith. Robin Smith. And like the two books like work really well together, I would say. But just us getting to the root of things so we can uproot that stuff and we can really heal. Our community needs it so bad. We need our men. I mean, women, I know we are doing the thing, but we really do need our men, because how many times do you hear women just say, we're tired? We are tired. And how many times do you hear men say, I don't know, I don't feel respected, I don't have a purpose, I feel I can't find my place. It's a new day. Let's reconnect. Let's reconnect. Thanks.
I would say, from everything I'm hearing, attorney, I'm just,
Please just
I want to. You've done the work. You deserve the profits. I'm big on journals, but then I also have a bunch of them, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to speak to the advanced person where I want to do it and not put it down. I heard my host say that there were quite a few prompts that said, whoa, I ain't ready for this. And not ready mentally, but probably just the writing part, because I get that part, especially if you have journals like me that write all the time. So to marry the two, could I just read the 30 days? Oh, yeah. All right, I just wanted to take the practicality part into it, because I know sometimes when you're writing or you're being prompted to do the inner work, that's where we like, okay, let me put this to the side because I can't do this right now. But it doesn't take away from advancing, and I want to get to the being love chapter.
Yeah. There's another chapter in there that's really, that folk have been really raving about. But take it and use it how it works for you. So if right now it's just, hey, I just want to do the affirmations. If it's, I want to read the lesson and just let it marinate. If it's, you know what, I really want to work on the prompts, and that's where the journal on its own, and there are actually more prompts in the journal than there are in the book. So however it works for you. But for those of you who may be saying, you know, I need some accountability, I need some discipline. I don't know about you. When I work out with a trainer, my workout is always a lot more effective. You know, when I work out on my own, I know what to do in the gym, but you know, I'm taking longer breaks. And then I was supposed to do 3 sets, but I tell myself, you know, 2 sets is pretty good. You know, on your 50s, most people aren't even doing this. Pat yourself on the back. You know. So accountability makes a big difference. So actually starting on January 14th, it is absolutely free. If you want to join our online program, we're going to go through each chapter for 30 days, you know, each day. And we're going to do it for 30 days. And depending on how that works, we may have another cohort. So I think we may have 2 or 3 spots available, but is it full now?
Oh, use the last 2 spots.
That's true. Okay, but you know what? I'm a goddess, so I can open up more spots. So if you're interested, C Wave, or actually for those watching, if you just send DM and send your email address, because social media won't let us give you the link on there. And we can send you the link. And so every day for 30 minutes, we're going to work on this together. If you can't make the actual time, you can access the recording. But sometimes just that accountability and then just the sense of, oh, okay, this is how it can flow. But it's really designed, except for the prompting part, it's really designed where, although I am a fast reader, so this may not be but you really could get through each chapter in about 30 minutes. Yeah, it's a short read. It just makes you think a lot. At least that's how I designed it.
And before we wrap up, putting it down is not a bad thing, because you sitting there reading it and you thinking about all of you. And maybe for a lot of us, it's the first time we've thought about us. Sometimes you gotta put the book down and let that thing marinate. Or like my man said, let that thing sizzle in your spirit for a little bit. I want to say thank you to everybody that came out, everyone that showed up for us. To support this work, and I do see this as a huge thing. Get the book, get it. If it's not for yourself, for the ones that you love, that's it. That's it. I can sit here and do this all day. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm beaming up here. I don't know if y'all can feel it, but the stage is like radiating right now. It's like. It's y'all can feel it up front. It's a thing. It's definitely happening. Sure, we ain't gonna tell you now, big dog.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to say thank you for blessing this wonderful, wonderful lady. I'm a big fan. I've known her since she was 11. My name is Chuma, and we went to the same school back in Nigeria. Now, I want to say thank you to the brother in the back, because you've known her a little while. And men are hesitant when they see powerful women trying to drop jewels in the world. We get very egocentric and we shrink. It's not supposed to be that way. We're supposed to, it's like the yin and the yang symbol. We're supposed to complement each other in that circle. And it is very, very important what you said, that even though this is directed in a way towards women who need our support. We need our support. It is to support us as well. We cannot separate the sexes, because we need to support and encourage and uplift each other. And that's the reason why I'm so happy to be here. Now, the other thing that I took from this is what you said about intent. You saw what I posted on social media. I was intent on being here on time. Today, I started at 4 o'clock telling my clients, I'm sorry, I'll get back to you tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Give me your number, give me your email, I'll get back to you. She knows I'm in marketing. I've been doing marketing and promotions since I was a kid.
Yes.
And my clients are international as well, so I kept getting calls even when I was driving to DC. And I'm like, I'll get back to you at 9 o'clock in the morning. My mission was to be here. And that's the thing about the intent. That's the thing about the intent. Because if you don't have the intent, that seed that includes everything will not be in the ground. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. You're in my stomping ground. I used to live 3 blocks from here at 13th and Euclid. That's where I used to live. So thank you everybody for being here. It's an honor for me to be here and to see your smiling faces, the energy in the room. Harris, thank you very much for hosting us in such a big way. Thank you, everybody.
Drop mic. With that being said,
I need to shout out one last person here, and he's not even looking. When I lived in New York City, so I graduated from law school and I bought a one-way Greyhound ticket. Did not take the law job I was offered. My mother, God bless her, she's been through so much with me. But there's more family coming in. Okay, so I bought a one-way Greyhound ticket because I wanted to work with John Henry Clark in New York. Wow. Some of you may have heard of him. And so I was volunteering, not making any money, eating 1 meal a day. Derek Grubb, are you listening? And at one point, I was homeless with a law degree. And that gentleman over there and his wife let me sleep on their couch, and they fed me, and and years later, he did the same for my brother who passed away. So there's so much love in this room. I just want to thank you for loving me. And I definitely want to encourage you because I know so many of you personally, and some of you I'm hoping to get to know better. You are enough, and you are so deserving of your own love. Can we say that together? I am deserving of my own love.
Of my own love.
I am deserving of my own love.
Of my own love.
Unpack that however you want. Yes. Unpack that however you want. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for coming.
have a good night. I can't. Have a good night.
If you haven't gotten the book yet, we have plenty of books back there. Feel free.